for the extraordinary talk show, Della Hill.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another amazing, awesome, extraordinary Monday on the Extraordinary Talk Show with your host, Della Hill. We've been talking about the law of attraction. We're still talking about the law of attraction because you cannot talk about everything that should be talked about in the 25 minutes that I have once a week to share with you guys. So we're back and we're talking more about the law of attraction. The thing is, the law of attraction is running on default, whether you are aware of it, using it, applying it at all on your own. It's running a default on you, for you, because the universe loves you and wants to give you what you think you want, or what it thinks you want. How does the universe know what you want? That's a key question. The universe knows what you want based on what you think and what you feel and what messages you send out to the world. So how do you send out messages? A lot of times you're going to be using your words, but your words are inextricably connected to your feelings, and your feelings are the vibration that the universe reads from you. So because we're humans, we like to use thoughts. We like to think in words. We like to put a word to everything. The universe isn't like that. The universe doesn't speak English or Spanish or Japanese or any other language. The universe speaks vibration, and vibration can be communicated by you through feeling, and you can adjust your feeling using words. There you go. If you are not doing this actively, if you're not doing this intentionally, like I said, it's happening on default for you. How does that happen? Thing is, we all have these paradigms. Bob Proctor is a huge law of attraction guy. If you want to learn a lot about the law of attraction, listen to him because he knows a lot more than I do. Downside is he's not here on the radio in Southern Utah, and I am. Not a downside for me. It's really good for me, actually. But paradigms is one of Bob Proctor's big things. Here's what your paradigm is. Your paradigm is your default running system. The thoughts, the patterns, the programs that you are running every day, day in, day out, from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, that is your default program. That is your paradigm. And if you've been thinking 80 to 90% of the same thoughts every single day for the last day, week, month, year, 10 years, you probably have a very similar paradigm now than you did 10 years ago, right? When you change your thoughts, when you change your thinking, that's when you change your feelings, which changes your vibration, which changes the messages that you send to the universe, which changes what the universe gives back to you. We run on these paradigms that we are programmed with from the ages of 0 to say 6 or 7. We've talked about this on previous shows. Your brain gets programmed when you're a child, and unless you change it after that, that's how you are. And some people think that once you hit the age of like 25, 30, that your brain's pretty much cooked and done and can't be changed. I absolutely fundamentally disagree with that. The difference is you have to actively do it. You've heard that saying, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. If you don't stand up for yourself, your brain is going to keep running this default program all on its own. And the universe is going to give you the default answers and default responses that you've always gotten. So the point is, you have to change your paradigm from where you currently are to a paradigm of receiving from the universe. And there's a lot to that. Funny thing about the law of attraction is that it's actually fundamentally very simple. The basics of it are really basic. The problem is when we try to actually learn how to take the rules of the law of the universe and make them work in our own heads, in our own minds, in our own lives for us. How do we change the paradigm that you are at now to a paradigm of receiving all of the wonderful things that you want? First of all, let's start by figuring out where you're at. What is your paradigm set at now? And in relation to the law of the universe, I've kind of made up a scale, and I want you to listen to these questions and give yourself a score. There's no right, no wrong. The whole point of this is to be honest with yourself so that you can see where your paradigm is set right here, right now. So I'm going to ask you some questions, and I don't want you to think about every detail about this topic in your life. I want you to realize how you feel when you think about this in your life. And I'm using a different scale. We're not doing a 0 to 10. We're doing -10 to +10. So 0 is actually neutral. Could go either way. Kind of don't really have strong feelings of positivity or strong feelings of negativity either way. If you feel amazing, awesome, wonderful, strong feelings of positivity, your score or your rating is probably going to be higher up on between 0 and 10. Whereas if you actually have negative feelings in this area of your life, and a lot of negative feelings, where the negative feelings outweigh the positive feelings, then your rating might have a negative number. Again, that's not a bad thing, because you are starting from here. That's the only place you can start from. And in order to start from here, let's see where you are. So when I ask you, how much do you love yourself? When you think about yourself and the amount of love that you have for yourself, do you feel positive feelings? Do you feel negative feelings? You don't necessarily even have to pick an exact number, but maybe kind of estimate where about on that from -10 to 0 to +10 scale you feel like you are. How much do you love yourself? When you think about yourself, what feelings do you get? Do you get very positive feelings? Do you get negative feelings? Next, are you proud of your life? Imagine that somebody was coming over, they wanted to walk through your house and get a taste of what your life is like. Would you be proud to show them your life? What feelings do you have imagining that scenario? Are they in the positive, happy, loving gratitude feelings of 0 to 10, or are they in the negative side? Again, be honest, because this isn't a score that's rating anything about you other than telling you what your set point is. And it might be helpful to write these numbers down. It might be helpful to write these areas down so that you can check in with these things. Next, think about your finances. And I don't mean how many bills you have and how much money you make. When you think about your finances, do you feel happy? Do you feel unhappy? Are your feelings in the positive or negative range when you consider everything? And it's not about how much money you make, because there are people who make a lot less money than you that are much, much happier than you are. And there are people who make a lot more than you do who are far unhappier than you are. So this number and how you feel about your money isn't about how much money you make. It's about how you feel when you think about money. Where are your feelings on that? Next is gratitude. How much gratitude is in your life? And I guess the question of the other side of the question is, for this is how much anger, resentment, hurt is in your life. If you can't even think of gratitude because all you can think of is hurt and angst, and you get that feeling in your stomach when you try to think of even something to be grateful for, if that's the case, you're probably going to be between -10 and -1, and that's okay. It's just where you are. You got to start from where you're at. There's nowhere else you can start from. On the other hand, if you're entirely grateful, or if you have a lot of gratitude in your life, go for the higher scale. Again, you do you. Next, relationships. Think about the relationships in your life. Are you incredibly lonely? So if you're on the lonely side, then you're going to be on the -1 to -10 rating side, right? If you feel very loved and you have a lot of people in your life, you're going to be on the higher side. But where do you put yourself as far as where you are and where you feel you can grow to? Next is spiritual wellness. And I don't mean religious. Let's be clear about that, because this can apply to, it does apply to any religion, any dogma, any way of thinking. God is in this. This is part of how God created the world for us to use it. We'll talk a lot more about that as we go on. So I'm not talking about how religious are you. I'm not talking about did you go to church yesterday. I'm saying how satisfied are you with your spirituality? And if you are not spiritual and you're fine with that, you could rate yourself up high. Because I'm not asking you how good your spirituality actually is. I'm asking how you feel about spirituality in your life. When you think about where you're at in your spirituality, how does that make you feel? That's the tricky part of this question. Next is hope. So one side of the scale would be hope, and the other side of the scale would be hopeless. Pick a number where you feel about how much hope you have in your life and how you feel about the hope you have in your life. And following right on the heels of that, not the same though, is joy. When you think about your life, how much joy do you feel? If you're not feeling joy about your life, you might be feeling disappointment. You might be feeling sadness. You might be feeling a wide range of emotions. But you pick. Now, I'm not going to ask you for your answers. This for you is indicative of your set point. This is telling you where you're coming from, where you're starting from. And the beautiful thing about this is you can only go up if you're working with the law of attraction. If you're not working with it or you're working against it, those numbers can even go down further. But if you are making a study of the law of attraction and really trying to be happier, those numbers will move up. And they might seem like they're moving up slowly, but that's only at the beginning before you build momentum, because there's so much momentum within the law of attraction. And once you just creep, once you can get that ball rolling, it's actually not as hard to get it rolling as you might think. And then once it starts rolling, it really picks up momentum and it gets easier and easier and easier. So now you have your vibrational set point, your paradigm set point that tells you where you are. Now, some of those questions that I asked you are fundamental to your ability to benefit from positively the law of attraction. Some of those are things that the universe and the law of attraction uses to help you with the other things. For example, finances and relationships, they are not core elements of the law of attraction. They're just what we humans look for from the law of attraction. The true core of the law of attraction is about love. It's about joy. It's about hope. It's about gratitude. And the more you can embrace those things, the easier it will be for you to have those things. And the more you embrace those things, the more the universe will say, hey, that person's really doing a really good job of enjoying these things. Let's keep giving them better ways to enjoy those things. And sometimes that's by allowing you to be even happier than you thought you could be. And sometimes that's by giving you a really nice, cool car so that you can drive around and enjoy the sunshine, because the law of attraction and the universe wants you to enjoy the world. So as long as you're enjoying the world, they might give you better ways to enjoy the world, like a nice car or a vacation or a really wonderful, awesome person to enjoy the world with. But the key is enjoying. The key is being happy. And the happier you are, the more emotional vibration you're sending out. And the universe is going to amplify that and send it back to you. Now, I told you that the law of attraction could be summed up by the words, be happy. Just be happy, because that's what it is. That's what it's about. That's how it works. And that's how you do it. You just be happy. If that's too simple, here's another way to think of it. You might think of the law of attraction as your obsession mirror. Whatever you are obsessed about, the universe is going to mirror and amplify back to you. This is where you have to be a little bit tricky and use the right words. Because if you are obsessed about not having enough money, if you think all day long, I haven't got enough money, I don't know who's got enough money, I'm never going to have enough money, I don't know how I could ever have enough money, guess what you're obsessing about? You're not obsessing about getting money. You might think that you are, and you're not. If that's the things that you're saying to yourself, you are obsessing about not having money. And the universe hears or feels your vibration of obsessing about not having enough money, and the universe goes, oh, not having enough money, I can see they're obsessing about that. I'm going to give them more not having enough money. Or you could say, I'm so lonely. I want someone to be here so I'm not lonely. And except I don't want them to be too short, and I don't want them to look like that, and I don't want them to have to be poor. I don't want them to be broke. Do you know what you're doing when you think that? Is you're thinking about all the things that you don't want. You don't want to be lonely. You don't want a guy who's broke. I think that there's a song about that, something about Scrubs. Those are the things that you don't want. And the more you tell the universe what you don't want, the universe doesn't hear the word don't. Guys, that's really important. And we learned this when we were doing foster care because we had goals. Every single one of our foster kids had goals that they had to write down and work on every single day. And if we used a goal like don't lose your temperature, or sorry about that one, don't lose your temper, guess what happened? They didn't really have much help not losing their temper. Because the universe doesn't understand the word not, and your brain doesn't understand the word not, and it doesn't understand the word don't. So what we had to do instead was positive control of emotions. That would be what their goal was. Instead of don't lose your temper, it was positive control of emotions. Instead of stop swearing, it was use positive language. And we could do a side-by-side comparison. If we had two kids and one of them had the goal of stop swearing and the other one had the goal of use positive language, guess who was more successful at that goal? The kid that had the goal of use positive language was absolutely, definitely, every time more successful than the kid whose goal was stop swearing. So you have to tell the universe what you want by telling the universe what you want, not what you don't want. So the more you stress about money, the more the universe is going to hear, ooh, stress about money. Here's some more of that. So if your scores were on the further left side with a negative in front of them, that tells you already right here, right now, that you are sending out negativity and want and more of that negativity. You must raise how you feel about those things. And maybe you're above zero on some and below zero on others. All of them you want to raise, especially the ones that are below zero. And the better you raise that into the positive side, the more you're going to see changes happening in your life, the more you're going to see wonderful things happening in your life. The question is, how do you do that? We go back to obsession. If you are obsessing over being lonely, if you're obsessing over not having enough money, that's what you're going to get back. So you must change that thought. We did a whole show a couple weeks ago on reframing thoughts. You must, when you start to feel that, because it's automatic. You're running on a trained program, guys. You can't help it when that thought comes into your head of, oh, I don't have enough money. That same thought's been in your head yesterday and the day before, and probably every single day for the last 10 years. It's automatic. It's trained. It's running on default. You have to retrain that. So how you do that is when that thought comes into your head, you have to recognize it. Remember, see the thought, don't be the thought. I've said that a few times. See it, recognize it, realize that's a negative thought. That's a negative vibration. That's going to be below zero on that scale that Della gave me. I don't want that. Immediately change it. And instead, flip to something positive. It can be something positive in that same idea. Like if you're thinking about money and you're thinking, I don't have enough money. Then you go, oh, wait, Della said not to think about that. What should I think about instead? Okay, I have enough money. Look, all my bills got paid last month. My family ate dinner every single day last month. I have food at home right now waiting for me. And instead, send out gratitude for all of the things that you do have. If you were only able to pay half of your rent, be grateful that you were able to pay half of your rent and focus on the gratitude. The gratitude is the hack here, guys. In order to change how you're feeling, when you're feeling upset and hurt and whatever it is that you're feeling, flip it to the positive by finding anything you can be grateful for about that thing. Maybe you're sick. Maybe you're chronically ill and you really, really would like to be better. It's really hard to think about being better. It's hard to have the vibration of being better when you're ill and when you're in pain. And when you've had this for so long, it seems like it's never, ever, ever going to get better. So what you have to do instead is catch the thought immediately. Oh, I'm sick. I've always been sick. I'm always going to be sick. Everybody around me is sick. They're never going to get sick. Stop that. Immediately, as soon as you recognize it, change that and find something about that to be grateful for. You know what? I had a good day yesterday. I didn't throw up clear till 10 o'clock in the morning. I usually throw up by 9. I didn't throw up clear till 10. I got a whole extra good hour. That was amazing. My medications worked. I took a pain pill and it helped. Or I was able to get in to see my doctor in an emergency last week. Whatever it is that you can find to be grateful for, that's what you have to focus on. And here's the key. Here's the trick. After you switch your thoughts from a negative vibration, a feeling of lack or want or unease, you must embrace the positive thoughts about that for a minimum of 17 seconds. That's a time that was given. We were told that by Esther and Abraham Hicks, or Abraham and Esther Hicks. I'm not sure how they say that. I think it's Abraham and Esther Hicks. They said the key is cling to that happy emotion, cling to that gratitude, cling to whatever it is that makes you feel better for just 17 seconds. Longer is better. 68 seconds is fabulous, but just for 17 seconds. And what that 17 seconds of gratitude does is it speaks a lot louder than the few moments you had of negativity before that. Because maybe the universe was starting to hear that negativity and you went, oh, no, listen to this instead. This is what I really meant. And you send out that gratitude and positivity for at least 17 seconds, longer if you can, to show the universe, this is what I'm really obsessing about. I'm obsessing about how happy I am. I'm obsessing about how grateful I am. I'm obsessing about how every single month, even though it seems like my money isn't going to make it to the end of the month, I still make it to the end of the month somehow. And I'm grateful for that. And focus on those things. I would like to tell you that if you do this every single day, as often as you can for about a month, you will see phenomenal change in your life. In fact, I know that that's true. The reason I'm hesitant to say that, to give you a 1-month challenge, is because if you can actually do this, which you can, and it's easier than you think, it's really just about consistency and doing it every time. And the more you do it, the easier it gets to do it. And the more you catch yourself with a thought you don't want, the easier it is to change it to a thought that you do want. And then you pick up momentum, and then it gets easier and easier and easier. And then your life gets better and better and better. And before you know, you've moved from a negative set point in your paradigm to a positive set point in your paradigm. And it is possible to have your numbers in these different areas be at different vibration points. Some might be in the negative, some might be in the positive. One might be a positive, but only like a 2. Another one might be a positive like an 8. And you'll notice too that there's some people that have like everything figured out when it comes to money. They got the big house, wealthy, all the cars, everything's going great for them when it comes to that. They don't have anybody loving truly in their life. So those are people that maybe feel good. Maybe they have high vibration when they're talking about their finances and their money, but when they talk about relationships, they're really low. And then you also know people who have amazing, wonderful families, tremendous relationships, great friendships that last for their lifetime, but yet they never seem to have enough money. Again, that's someone whose vibration set point is probably high in the relationships and low in the finances. You do have the ability to change it, and it's easier than you think. So I do challenge you to do this for a month, but I'm also pretty dang sure that if you did it for 2 weeks, you would see a change. If you did it for a week, you would see a change. If you could do this consistently, and I mean consistently every time for 1 day, you will see a change. I guarantee, I know because I've tested it. And the rewards that you're going to get from doing this, I can't tell you what they're going to be because I don't know what things you're dreaming of. Another hack, when you're feeling frustrated and down, meditate. I feel like a broken record on that, and I'm going to keep saying it over and over and over because when you meditate, you're able to slow down your mind. You're able to quiet your mind, and all of those obsessive thoughts that are currently obsessing about negative things, it's a lot easier to obsess over the positive things, and you should obsess over the positive things because when you feel good, you just want to feel better. And when you feel better, you go, wow, I didn't even know I could feel this good. So you feel better. And it gets better and better and better. I have less than a minute left, and I have to take the 47 seconds that I have because today is a really special day. Today is April 22nd. It's Earth Day. but it's also my 22nd wedding anniversary. So to the wonderful Chris, who's out there, who watches me, he is my biggest fan. He listens to me and talks to me and helps me get new ideas for shows and bounces my show ideas, lets me bounce them off him, and I love him, and I'm so grateful for that relationship in my life. Remember, guys, I'm not here to tell you what to think. I just want you to think for yourselves. That's me, Della, at the Extraordinary Talk Show. I love you. Have an amazing week. I'll see you next Monday.
You've been listening to The Extraordinary Talk Show with Della Hill. Search YouTube and Facebook, Spotify, or Podbean for video and podcasts of this show, or go to radiostgeorge.com. We'll see you next week for another edition of The Extraordinary Talk Show.
KDXI, St. George.
Hi, this is Della with The Extraordinary Talk Show. If you liked this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and check out some more of the amazing videos that we have to share with you.